So I've been thinking about large language models lately, and I have a thought that I'm going to try to share. It's not perfectly well refined, so I'm going to see if I can pull it together on the fly. Large language models are a hot topic right now because they do something that no human invention has ever been able to do before, which is that they're able to produce an output that closely resembles the intelligent response of a human being to a verbal prompt. I've noticed something as I've interacted with these models, whether it's chatbots like ChatGPT or Google Gemini, or image generators like DALL-E, or video generators like Sora by OpenAI. I've noticed something as I've observed them and interacted with them that I'm going to make a comment on in this video. I've noticed that these models are characterized by two qualities that are not normally found in the same thing, and maybe never have been in this way before in the past. The first quality, I'm not sure this is exactly the right name for it, but I'm calling it excellent craft. And what I mean by that is the written responses of ChatGPT appear to have been written by an intelligent, knowledgeable, experienced writer. The images produced by DALL-E appear to have been produced by a professional illustrator. The videos produced by Sora appear to have been produced by a professional animation team. Whether it's writing or image or video, the output of these models appears to have excellent craft, like a human professional. The other quality of the output of these models is vulnerability to bizarre errors, and these are more evident in the image generator like DALL-E or the videos than I think they are in the chatbots, even though this kind of error is also present in the output of the chatbot. One of the videos on Sora's website shows a woman walking through what appears to be Tokyo, surrounded by crowds, and this video is lifelike, HD, and it's amazing that it has been generated in response to a prompt. But as this woman is walking, her legs are going back and forth as they should, but then as her right leg is moving forward, it will switch with her left leg, and then her left leg begins moving forward. Or sometimes she'll skip a beat. She moves in a way that is not lifelike. And in fact, there's no way that a professional animator capable, or a team of animators capable of producing a video as sophisticated as this demo, would not understand how legs work. They would never allow that error to sneak into their final output. You see this also in image generators. People have pointed out that they've struggled to produce hands properly. I've seen this in the text output of Google Gemini. When I've asked it to give me the top 10 academic research papers on a certain topic, it'll give me a list of 10 papers with the author and the title of the paper and a description. But then when I check, sometimes I've found that it's given me an invention. It's given me a paper that it says is written by a real person, but this person may have never done work in the field that I was inquiring into, and they may have never produced a paper by the title that Gemini gave me. And since the paper doesn't exist, it certainly doesn't match the description that the model gave me. So it's producing something that's a total invention. Just as an example. So these models have a vulnerability to including bizarre, unreasonable errors in their outputs, despite the fact that they also produce outputs with superb craft. The combination of these two qualities in the output of these models presents a risk to us that I think we're not used to dealing with. And the reason for that is because we've learned to associate a certain level of general understanding with professional craft. For example, an illustrator that's able to produce a lifelike image of a person would not have failed to learn that a normal hand has a thumb and 4 fingers. They would never accidentally draw 7 fingers on a hand, but the model might. Because we have experienced craft and general understanding increasing proportionately in human craftsmen, I think we've learned to read craft as a signal of general understanding. We've come to associate these things together. There's a risk that we could instinctively feel inclined to trust the output of these large language models more than we should, because they present the semblance of excellent craft, which in human craftsmen is a reliable indicator of general knowledge. What we ought to do is critically evaluate everything that these models give to us, because at any moment there's a chance that the output include a bizarre error like a left leg switching with the right leg in an animation, or 7 fingers on a hand. But especially with text, I think that this is going to require more effort and discipline from us than we might be instinctively inclined to make. Part of the reason for this is that largely we've developed bad reading habits. We've developed the habit of skimming text rather than reading it closely. It's not common for people to read text closely and critically. If you skim the text output of ChatGPT or Google Gemini, it will present a semblance of excellent craft, and there's a good chance that you could miss some egregious errors camouflaged with apparently good writing. So I think we need to discipline ourselves not to do that. We might be tempted not to do this. We might be tempted to allow ourselves to confuse the semblance of good craft with a reliable indicator of general knowledge and reliability, because if these models would be reliable, that would save us a lot of work. For example, if I could type into Copilot, I want a program that accomplishes X, Y, and Z, it would be nice if it would give me a reliable block of code to accomplish what I've asked it to accomplish. As it is, I may ask Copilot to create something for me, and it may give me a code block that includes functions that I've never used before, kinds of programming that I'm not familiar with. I could trust that. I could plug that into my work, and maybe it would even apparently do what I wanted it to do. And I could stop there and do no more due diligence. Hopefully it would be obvious that that's not a good idea. But the temptation is present. Instead of giving into my laziness or maybe cutting a corner because I'm short on time, I need to have the discipline to critically evaluate every single thing that these models give to me, whether that is a block of code or text or anything else. I mean, I don't think that we're gonna miss some obvious error in an image or a video, but I think it's possible when in text and code. So in summary, large language models are new and they present risks that we're not familiar with dealing with. We should proceed to use them with caution. And a part of what that means is being careful and disciplined to critically evaluate the output that they give to us, especially when that output is text or code. We should make sure that we understand and think critically about the things that we're receiving before we use them to do work.